everyone. This is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. We mentioned before we quit that we had 3 videos in the archive file. And you know what? We released one the other day, and we thought we would release the second one today. And this one is about basically a preview of the NFC East after the draft. Kind of seeing if the division is going to be a dumpster fire and where the Giants rank, and potentially what this division will look like after the draft from the Eagles, the Cowboys, and Washington, of course, the Giants themselves. So I wanted to get into that briefly. And like I said, we want to just kind of release the video on that, and hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Stay tuned for May 16th for the Online Big Blue replacement. It'll be a stream. It'll be Sunday. It'll be noon Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be exciting. But I also want to talk about something real quick. I keep saying things about Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones this and Daniel Jones that, and all the Daniel Jones apologists and lovers are out there. And the new thing is, well, if you question Daniel Jones, you're questioning the Giants, and if you're doing that, then you're not really a fan because you're not supporting the quarterback. Okay, that's what a bully does. A bully tells you you're wrong for having your own opinion. If you want to have your own opinion about Daniel Jones, that's fine. You're not any less of a fan if you have your own opinion. And for someone to tell you that you're wrong to have your own opinion, and if you don't support him, you don't support the team, that's just what a bully does to try to get you to think like them. Have your own mind. Have your own brain. Have your own thought. Don't sit there and worry about what other people think about what you think about other people, because that's just idiotic. Don't worry about it. If you don't think Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the future, then that's fine. And if you do, that's fine as well. But don't try to force your opinion by telling someone they're less of a fan because you don't believe in the quarterback. More quarterbacks are going to fail than they're going to excel in their NFL careers. That's just the way it is. The Giants were in a quarterback desert for years, between Craig Morton and Phil Simms. How long did it take us to find Kerry Collins? How long did we have to suffer? We didn't suffer that long for Eli Manning, but how long do we have to wait for Eli Manning? And then people got spoiled for having Eli Manning for 16 years. So it just perturbs me when people are like, well, you're not a real fan if you don't support Daniel Jones. No, you could still support the quarterback and not think he's the quarterback of the future. Many organizations and franchises have gone through this. The Giants aren't special in reference to this. They're not. I'm sorry. So I don't want to hear any bullshit from people. Well, you're not a real fan. You know what? You're not a real fan. You know what? You're not a real fan then. For you to sit there and tell someone else they're not a real fan because they don't support the quarterback, you're an idiot. We're going to get into the Giants. Like I said, we're going to get into the video right now, and here we go. All right, everyone, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, and you know what we're going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the draft. The draft is over. It was interesting. No, there was no collusion between the Eagles and the Cowboys to screw over the Giants. It just happened. Things happened. You got to feel bad for poor Devontae Smith, though. But it's a couple days after the draft, and I wanted to take a look at where the teams in the division stand in reference to last year and where they potentially can be headed to this year. Because, we're still a long ways away from training camp, so we really can't tell what we're going to do. But we need to just take a look at what the other teams have done and how they've improved themselves and how they're going to stack up against the Giants in this division. Right now, I think let's just start with the Cowboys. The Michael Parsons pick, I was actually kind of surprised by that because you got Jalen Smith, you got a couple other good linebackers on the team. Parsons is a sideline to sideline guy he's a playmaker. Technically, he's got cornerback speed, and he has the ability to rush from the edge as well. And adding him to that defense adds a separate skill set for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, of course, as we know, have had issues on defense exponentially, let's just say. Their offense, even after Dak went down, took a little time to find itself. But it was interesting that they went, first of 4 rounds, they went all defense. Kelvin Joseph out of Kentucky, he'll help with the quarterback in the cornerback situation. You got Golston out of Ohio. I think he's going to be a contributor. You got what's his name, Wright out of Oregon State. I think he'll contribute early as well. And I think really the steal for them is going to be Jabril Cox out of LSU. He's a cover guy. He really is. He's a cover linebacker. You add Cox with Parsons and Jalen Smith. And I know Jalen Smith's contract right now is albatross, and they're probably going to try to dump him after the end of next year. But he is still a stout run defender. The team, to me, improved themselves, and not trading Michael Gallup for draft picks. I think that's going to help their defense, or excuse me, their offense just as much as, since he's in the wide receiver positions. I mean, you take a look at the Cowboys gave up 473 points, 29.6 per game. I think they've improved on their defense. I would have liked to have seen them target someone more like J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain if they were going to trade up or trade down. They would have to trade up to get those two guys, of course. But I think they're a good fit. I think the linebackers, I think, have improved the defense. I think Parsons is going to add a skill level which is going to be extremely interesting. I think last year with the Cowboys, if they were able to control some of the games with their defense, because they had a lot of early shootouts, and even late with Andy Dalton, they had some shootouts. So I think if they could shave some, let's say they gave a 29.6, if they can get down to 21, I think they're going to be interesting in the division, and I think it's going to be something very, very interesting coming up against. I would give their draft a B- Cowboys. But I think in reference to the talent level that's going to help them improve, you got to give them a solid B+ in reference to, and I think they could pick up an additional 3 wins maybe on that level. So I think it could be an extremely competitive division. Now the Washington football team myself, I'm not really sure what they did. They went with Davis out of Kentucky. I thought that was an interesting pick. I would say he's more of a unique talent. I mean, if you take a look at it, he's got some interesting attributes. Ran a 4.47 on 42-inch leap on his pro day, 11-foot broad jump. He's an explosive player. There's gonna be room for him to grow in pass coverage, and I think that's what they're gonna be looking at. And again, to me, he could be a 3-down linebacker, sideline to sideline guy. They got that kid in the 3rd round out of Minnesota, the corner, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's another one that's an exceptional athlete. And I think that's going to be interesting. And then they added who did they add? They added the wide receiver out of North Carolina, Brown, in the 3rd round. He averaged over 20 yards a catch and scored 20 touchdowns over his final 2 seasons. He'll drop the ball here and there, but he's a big play waiting to happen. And if Ryan Fitzmagic can turn the corner on that and keep Father Time at bay, I think he'll be an interesting fit. And I think the defense as a whole, I believe, has gotten better in Washington. And those are just off of some of the players I could just think of off the top of my head. Bates, the tight end out of Boise State, I think was a good pickup as well. And what's his name? Foster, the safety out of Cincinnati, I think is going to be interesting. So, I give them a solid B as well. And I think they've improved their team. I think they potentially have improved their offense in reference to if Bates and Brown can actually contribute. And I think they, like I said, it's really going to fall down to Fitzmagic. What's going to go on right there? I think they got a good coach in Ron Rivera. I think they should be able to move forward exponentially. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, to me, is a dumpster fire. And it's always going to be a dumpster fire. They don't know what they're doing. Yes, they went up and grabbed Devontae Smith. And it's interesting. Like I said, it's, they got themselves a bona fide Heisman winner. But beyond that, Dickerson, the center out of Alabama, should be interesting. Williams, defensive tackle out of Minnesota State, which it's going to be. I don't see the Cowboys. I don't see the Eagles winning more than potentially, I would say, 3 games, maybe 4. There's an extra game this year, so we'll give them 4 games. We'll give them a 4-game head start on there, but they're going to be the bottom of the division. Now, what I do find interesting about the Giants is everyone on YouTube and social media has given the Giants A+ on their draft. I heard one idiot say it was the best draft the Giants ever had. Well, you know what? If that's what you think, you know nothing about sports, so please stop watching. The Giants, but if you go outside in the New York market, everyone's giving him anywhere between a B and a B+. I gave him a B- because I don't think you can count a trade in 2022, the draft pick in 2022, because you do not know what the end value of that pick's going to be. But I think adding Tony is going to potentially add a wrinkle to the offense. I think he will be more of a special teams guy, a special teams player. Ojulari, I love that pick. I love the Ojulari pick. I think Robinson, and I've said it before, is going to be he's going to be insurance against Adoree Jackson and potentially James Bradbury leaving in a year or two. He's a good physical handsy, but he's not handsy. He's a good physical corner at UCF. Like I said, I've watched a lot of UCF because we got a UCF alum in the house. He can't, of course, transfer over to Alabama. Smith, the linebacker, he's going to be a project at fourth. Brightwell, I'm not seeing Brightwell and Williams. I'm not projecting much out of there, and I think you need to be honest about that. I think the big pick is going to be Ojulari. Excuse me, can't say Ojulari today. I think he's going to have. I mean, if the degenerative knee issue he has is not an issue, and he's not going to turn into a Javion Clowney, I think that's fine, and I think that'd be fantastic. And I think he will be the pick of the draft for the Giants because of the fact that I just, like I said, he had something at Georgia, and I think he's still got something now. But the big question is where, and I still give the Giants a solid B- on the draft because I don't think I love it how a lot of people, you look at the Giant web pages and stuff, and they'll give the grades. They'll give B for Tony, A+ for Ojulari, B for Robinson, B for this for Smith, C for this. And I love it because I looked at it and go, if you add up those grades numerically, or just using like the old scale that's 70 to 80s, a C, and all that, they don't add up to an A+ or an A. So I think the Giants had a solid draft. I think that we need to be realistic about it. I think Tony will be a third option. I think he's going to have to find his way in this offense because the Jason Garrett offense, if he's going to simplify it, is not going to. He's a slot guy. And we also have Sterling Shepard, and I don't see either one of them playing exceptionally well on the outside. You still have to worry about Kenny G. You still got to worry about Darius Slayton if he's going to come back and how Evan Ingram's going to perform. You got to worry about the knee with I know everyone's excited that Barkley's slated to be back by August, but you still got to worry about the knee injury. So he's going to have to find his way. I mean, like I said, but I think Ojulari and Robinson could potentially be, especially Ojulari can be immediate contributors. I mean, so I could see them with their 6 picks adding a couple wins onto the season. I still think the Giants are going to finish with 7 to 8 wins. I still think that the Washington football team is a little bit better, and so does Vegas. I think you're going to see an improvement with the Dallas Cowboys, and I think, like I said, we'll pick up 2 wins this year off the wonderful Philadelphia Eagles. But I think the division's going to be a battle this year. I don't think it's going to be a garbage dumpster fire like it was last year, and I think anyone can take it. Am I going to say the Giants are going to take the division right now? No. Because if you actually are honestly and from a realistic perspective, look at the roster, we still have a lot of holes and we still have a lot of ifs. And I think the other 2 teams, outside of Philadelphia, have improved themselves. I think Washington improved themselves, and I think the Cowboys improved themselves. The Cowboys are going to be scary if Dak comes back and they can put up any type of defense. They'll be a scary team. And the same thing with Washington. Washington will be a scary team if Fitzpatrick is Fitzmagic. If he's Fitztragic, then you know what? Then Giants can pick up maybe 2 wins there. But right now, like I said, I'm projecting, and I've said it for a while, now I'm projecting 7 to 8 wins. Unless I'm not seeing a playoff team yet. I think they did push all the chips in the middle of the table. I just don't see it right now. Things can change going into the training camp, but that's where I think they're going to sit at right now. And again, this is Tim Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you can please subscribe. If you're reading that, but you know what that means, that'd be awesome.